cry me, Barbara.
Deprecated.
Welcome back. Another episode of Dad Bods and Beards. We have just you and me again today. You're blocking my camera. You literally cannot do that. Your elbow went right in front of the lens.
Sorry.
So we've got just me and Tyson. You can't do that. So I'm gonna roll that back. That's it. I'm gonna get. So we've got another one with just me and Tyson today. We've done 2 in a row before this. It was just me and you, and we've got another guest coming in about 45 minutes to an hour to do an episode, which probably one of the biggest social media creators we've had. A couple million on TikTok, almost 1 million on Instagram. Has like a comedy tour. We'll cover that in a little bit. But before we get started,
I have 4,000.
Hey, dude. I say this all the time. Imagine you had that many people sitting in a stadium listening to you talk.
I would have the nervous parts.
You have the nervous parts when you're talking to me. But as always, want to recognize our sponsor, which, fun fact, Mountain Ops.
What size of shirt is that?
I was going to talk about that. I bought this when we first started with Mountain Ops, and I bought the wrong size on accident. It's a fitness and wellness and like supplement brand. So their shirts,
everything is tight.
So their shirts are tapered. They fit the chest and the arms like really well, but they're tapered in the gut.
And they make you feel pregnant.
And I'm like, oh, I bought a 2X. I normally wear a 2X. If I want to wear oversized, I'll wear a 3X, right? I bought it and I put it on. I was like, oh no. I was like, that is not going to work. It fits.
Oh.
And that's working with Mountain Ops. Did you just give me a little clap? No. So I put it on today. It's still probably a little bit more snug than I like, but I'm like stepping out. It's 2025. Stepping out of the comfort zone, doing hard stuff.
That's why I wear a thong everywhere I go. Something's wrong with me today.
But it's a testament to working with Mountain Ops. We've been working with Mountain Ops for a couple months now, and we are, hell-bent on actually utilizing the products of the people that sponsor the show. We use Newcom all the time. We use Mountain Ops all the time.
I listen to Newcom.
Yeah, I use Newcom a ton today. I'm editing some footage with Newcom, and I'm using their stuff a lot. And Mountain Ops has improved my health in ways that I can't imagine, because you and I did 75 hard last year, but we both gained a good chunk of that back. It was not sustainable. We've been working with Mountain Ops longer than we did 75 hard.
And with Brock.
And with Brock, and we've kept it off. And we're still continuing to get in healthier shape. So,
dude, my shoulders are coming back.
Okay, I'm realizing that my body type might be a little different than I thought. As I'm losing weight, my frame is getting smaller.
Yeah.
Like my shoulders are still wide.
And see, mine are getting bigger.
But I need to start lifting weights because I'm like, my biceps aren't as big as I remember them being. But all of that aside, check out Mountain Ops.
You know what else is big, though?
This isn't that kind of podcast.
My head.
Oh, your head. Okay. But
that's why I have to buy the double X.
Yeah. Use code DADBODS at checkout on mountainops.com. Everything you get there will be 20% off, and all the purchases go to help out families in need. So, you're running this episode today. I'm in the dark.
Yeah, so I'm weird.
We knew that.
No,
I'm weird.
So I'm not going to ever share anything that you've told me. That's none of my, it's not my place.
Oh yeah.
So, but I will say you're going through some things, and so I've kept things away from you just because.
That you're going through.
Yeah, because you don't need crap. No, I'm dead serious. Like that's how I'm still learning how to be better every day.
We all are.
And I was listening to the last episode that we did, the one where it was like a recap of 2024 and what we're going to 2025. And then, I'm just listening and I feel like I'm lacking a lot of confidence. I'm lacking almost like I have imposter syndrome, and I'm lacking confidence, and I'm lacking in a lot of ways. And I feel like it's coming out in how I communicate too. Like, I feel like I'm riding your coattails. I feel like I'm almost like I don't need to be here. Not here, but here. Like just like my relationship with my wife's amazing. With my kids, it's amazing. I feel like Copper John's is starting to like holy crap. But like I have 2 full-time employees that help me make stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's gotten me in a funk. Like I'm in a funk. Like I don't know what it is. It's like I'm talking to you, and it's not that I'm jealous of your creativity. But I'm envious, if that makes sense. Like I wish I could be more entertaining. I wish I could communicate better. I wish I could like tell people the way how to help them or and then it's just like people, like I got stopped at the bank the other day and people wanted to take a picture with me and everything like that.
Oh, because they follow the show and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. I just I feel like I'm fake and it's starting to wear on me.
Like you don't feel like it's authentic to you?
I'm authentic.
Yeah, I know you're authentic, but you don't feel like this and like stuff.
No, it's more of like I am here because of everyone else, not because of me. No, I'm dead serious.
Sure.
This is how it feels.
I'm not gonna negate how you feel.
And it's just, it sucks to feel that way, and I don't know why I feel that way. It bothers the crap out of me. And yeah, that's all. It's just like, but yeah, that's like a lot of stuff on my social media. I'll share, and it's because it's on my mind.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. Like so today, I posted something yesterday that says "You're enough." It was just a sign. I stole that from you.
Well, I stole that from somebody else.
Who stole it from someone? Who stole it from someone? Yeah. But I love the idea, and so I just actually, this gentleman's name is Jacob Hendel, and it says, "Why do we have the feeling that we are not enough?" And this was written June 18th, 2018. So 6 years, 6.5. Yeah. Anyway, and I'm going to read a paragraph. It's only 3 paragraphs long, but I'm going to read the first paragraph, and I kind of want to talk about it, and then we'll read the second one and all that. It says, many of us have this.
Before you do.
Yeah.
I just want to say, before you get into that, being able to recognize that and admit that and share that on a platform that is growing, this is not something you would have done 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago when we met.
Mm-mm.
So even though you're feeling like this right now, I'm just saying as your best friend, I would even say like bordering like brother at this point, do yourself the favor of at least acknowledging the fact that you're recognizing and you're talking about it, because it's the shutdown that kills you. Sometimes literally.
Well, I called you a couple times yesterday, today, and I really feel like I'm bothering you. And I know I'm not.
No,
I know I'm not, but that's where my confidence is. I don't know what the freak is going on. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. And, but yeah.
But no, I want to hear this,
Maybe
and I want to hear your thoughts
exhausted.
after.
I don't know. Okay.
But I just wanted, before we get into the conversation and get
it.
down that road, just the acknowledgement, I wanted to just throw that out there of like you saying that, just starting off the episode like that, that's going to keep those 5, 10, 15, 20, or even a couple hundred guys that are starting off the episode feeling that same way. Now they're going to be listening. And now you're going to be directing them down a path to listen, to read something that's been helping you at least recognize all this. So like, if you're not going to pat yourself on the back right now, I'm going to do it. So that's just...
But yeah, so it starts out, and mind you, I think I might have dyslexia.
You want me to read it?
No, I'm going to do my best. But maybe
You're like, I think I'm dyslexic. Dyslexic.
So when I'm by myself, it makes sense. But when I read it out loud, my eyes go a little cross-eyed. And things come out. Okay, many of us have feelings. See?
Yeah,
we have feelings. No, many of us have this feeling inside us. We may feel lucky and grateful to have the things we have, yet there is a nagging feeling that makes you think, I should have more money. I should have a bigger house. I should have more friends. I should have a better job. These thoughts can plague us daily, and they are dangerous. They can mess with our heads and lead to negative emotions, which can have a bad impact on your mental health. I'm going to read the second paragraph. We are not born feeling like we are not enough. The things and emotions that we experience create that feeling. It can begin from a young age when our brains are not fully developed, where our minds tell us that if something goes wrong within us, it is our fault. These beliefs and ways of thinking make us feel inadequate, and we carry them as we grow up. So, how do we change this voice in our head? That's the question. That's the question in the third paragraph he asked, and I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to kind of go on with. He has a lot of cool things. I mean, not a ton, but enough where I think it would create a good conversation.
Yeah.
So, how do we change this voice in our head? Meaning, I have felt this way before.
Yeah.
Like when I was 30, so 15 years ago, I remember talking to my dad because I felt like I had dreams like, oh, I'd have a bigger house. I would be able to go on trips with my family, or I would be able to go, I would have a boat or something like that, anything other than what I had. And I remember he's like, I'll carry on. But what do you think first?
First thought that comes to mind of like, how do we, how do you deal with the voice in your head, or how do you change the voice in your head, right?
How do you change this voice?
Yeah, how do you change the voice? It's gonna sound super cliche. I think you gotta listen. I think you gotta listen to him first, because he's you. Like the voice in your head, or she's you. Like whoever, you know what I mean. Like whether it's whoever is listening to this, the voice in your head is you. I know there's a lot of times that, and this borderlines on like my belief and my spiritual belief and stuff like that, that certain voices in our heads are not, whether they're like, a negative voice that might be, an adversary type in a religion, or a more positive voice that might be more of a, a comforting spirit type voice or whatever. I personally feel like the voices inside your head are you, and they are the different parts about you, and they are the different positives and negatives. And I think that they all deserve to be heard, because speaking from experience, when I used to try to shut voices up, they got louder, and they got dangerous, and they got angry, and they manifested in the worst ways. It's the same thing kind of going all the way back to our episode with Brock. I mean, we've gotten to a point where we've done so many episodes with so many good people that like we're referencing our own episodes because we talked to so many good freaking people. And Brock had this take on mental health and those feelings inside your head of like, they're beautiful parts about who you are. They're beautiful parts of who you are, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily wrong because it's a feeling that you don't enjoy at the moment. It means that it's saying, there's a character you're playing or a part of your life or something that is not aligned with like your authenticity or just your self-worth or your self-look. So I think the best answer I have for you is just kind of rolling it all the way back of like, I think to change the voice inside your head, first you have to listen, and not just listen. You have to try to understand what it's saying, because it's your conscience, it's your subconscious, it's the part of your brain that is running everything. So if it's telling you something that you're not telling other people, like, because we talk about masks all the time. I mean, I sent a text yesterday that you were a part on, and I told you because of some of the stuff that I'm going through, I'm turning on the happy face. I'm literally turning it on. We talked about that.
And it's sad that you have to do that.
Well, but I mean, it's a part of life. It's part of being a dad. It's part of being a husband. It's part of just being an adult, right? That sometimes you got to turn it on. But I think that's probably the best answer I have right now for it. Before we get more in depth of this, is just you got to listen to yourself.
I think listening to or going through what I'm like right now, what caused me to like feel this way today, is I got an email, and it was for our car insurance. And it was $934, and so I called them and I'm like, why is it
go up?
Yeah. So it's just like every month now I'm paying $934 because I have 4 cars and 5 kids, or 5 of us.
Oh wow.
And then Ellie's going to start driving here shortly, and I'm just like, I can't afford $934. And then all of a sudden I went down the thing. I'm like, oh, I got to pay this. I got to pay this. I got to pay this. And then I thought, when am I going to be able to like afford crap? Like, when am I going to be able to take care, not stress about this stuff?
And then your truck and everything.
And then my truck won't start, and you're just like, what the freak? And so it's just like, I think that's kind of one of the main things, but it's just like, yeah, you get in this thing where it's like, what am I doing wrong? What is making this transition so slow? Like, why isn't Dad Bods just, why is Copper Jones because we're ready for both. Like, everything is ready for Copper Johns. Everything is ready for Dad Bods. It's just like, and not to say I'm not grateful, because I'm extremely grateful for what we have, and I'm extremely grateful for everyone. It has nothing to do with it. It has to just do with just like, I chose to have 6 kids, and my wife is wonderful, and it has nothing to do with any of that. It's more of me as a husband. How come it's still hard?
I wonder if first, I'm sorry that you feel like you can't tell me that right now because of whatever I'm going through.
Yeah,
and you can, and I'm more annoyed that you haven't. You know what I mean? I'm more annoyed that you haven't than whatever you think annoyance is.
And
you
again,
calling
I'm
me.
starting to feel better because I'm talking about it. But
exactly.
now everyone in the freaking world knows.
Well, I wish my certain situation I could spell it all out, but it involves other people that I don't want to hurt.
And I can share you because it involves no one.
Yeah, and so my thing is that I think that it's the climate we live in right now of instant
But
gratification.
$934 for insurance. And I'm like, that is ridiculous.
I used to be an insurance agent. I worked for State Farm. I worked for Allstate. I used to do auto insurance. Like unfortunately that's just the nature of having those kids, and I like feel for you, right? Because it's like I look at my insurance with just me and my wife, and I'm like, it's basically pennies compared to that. And so I know like the stack up. I mean, you and I both know that. I mean, everybody knows that. Anybody listening knows what it's like of just like, it feels like this flood of just every tiny little freaking thing stacks up. And then, we're going to be here at 4:30. Your truck doesn't start. And then it's just the battery cable, or it's the battery or whatever. It's everything. And then you're like, but I got to get new tires on this thing. And this, and it's just everything stacks over and over and over. And I feel for you. And I think that looking at my own situation and looking at everyone else that deals with stuff like this, and like, why haven't I been here yet? Why am I not here yet? Why isn't Dad Buds at this point where it's paying both of our salaries? Why do we both have to work full time? Why isn't Copper John's exploded to the point where you can leave your full-time job and that covers you? Like, I think it's because we live in the world where you can open your phone and you can watch somebody who like dude, for instance, there's this guy on social media up in Idaho. I follow him. I can't remember his name because I can barely remember my dog's name some days. He started Instagram or TikTok like this year, like a couple months ago, or I guess, technically last year, whatever, within the last couple months. And he's the guy that like, he drives a garbage truck and he eats a whole head of lettuce. Have you seen that guy?
Yes, I have.
He's got like a couple million followers or something now. I've been at this game for like 3 years. So I think it's because certain things click, and then we see this instant gratification. You have certain people that like started a business and then it's like, boom, they're instant successes. And I think it's because we're constantly comparing ourselves in so many different ways. And it's such an easier said than done, like, conversation to have. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's like losing weight. You see the people that their whole Instagram account is like, oh, this was me before and this is me now. Same thing. Robert shares that kind of stuff. Robert's been on a freaking 8-year journey, 10-year journey. And he shares his before photos. And there's a couple other people that I follow. And it's like, that I really enjoy because they say, it took me 2 years to get here. It took me 3 years to get here. Now I'm having skin removal surgery because I used to be 500 pounds and now I'm 180, right? So it's like I don't see myself in the mirror every single day as getting healthier, but I look back at the before pictures and I look at my Smart Scale app and I'm like, wow, I was 290 and I got on today and I was 256.
Dude, that's cool.
But I'm like, I still feel like I'm 290 at times.
Oh, I feel that way completely.
But like Logan at 290, you would be like, we're what? Mm-hmm. Like, heck yeah, dude. Like, so I think that's what it is that like, dude, if we could go back in time to when Logan and Tyson sat down for our first episode in the barbershop with these tiny little mics that were super crappy, like audio quality and all that stuff. And we're like,
echoey.
Hey, by the way, you guys are going to be, You're going to go sit down with 2 major celebrities in Beverly Hills at this point, and then you're going to be moving on, working with these people, doing this stuff. You're going to be lined up. You're going to have business partners, yada, yada, yada. Everyone be like, okay. But it's taken us, we're going on 2 years. In May, it'll be 2 years that we've been doing this. So I think it's all comparison-wise.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I would be more afraid if you felt like it was enough.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess never being satisfied is how things grow, but also being satisfied.
I think
I'm getting lost.
Yeah. I think for me, I got to remember the good things. Like I might be stressed because I have a lot. You know, you have your mortgage, you have your bills, you have medical bills, you have now car insurance that's just astronomical, and it's just like everything continues to add up, and then you're just. But at the same time, my kids are healthy. I do have a house. I have a wonderful company. We have Dad Bods. I get a wonderful job that allows me to do things, and so I have a wonderful friend. Friend.
You're like
no, I have a wonderful friend. I have a wonderful wife. But it's just like I need to always be grateful, and I am, but also I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Well, you should be.
And I don't know. That's kind of the thing, is where do you draw the line where it's self-deprecating, but also positive? Like, because you always want to continue to get better. Like, you are what, 247?
No, 250s.
Yeah. But your goal is less than that. And so it's like you're grateful for what you've done. You've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
But you want to continue to. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so why I'm in this funk? Because I know we're getting better. I know I'm working hard. Like, I'm one of the select few, and I'm not here to boast, but I'm one of the select few that I feel like even during the dark times, no one outworks me.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah. And it's just like, I could be stressed up the wazoo, and usually when you're that way, you will stop and you will drop and you will just be, just like a recluse, just be by yourself. And I'm totally opposite. I'm like, nope, got to get it done, doing it, and all this. And, but it's just like, when is that over? Like, when can I take a breath?
Yeah, no. I mean, dude, I've had this conversation with my dad. I talk about a guy who fought.
Sorry, I feel like this is a whiny session.
No, it's not. This is the thing, is like, this is why we say therapy is so important.
Yeah.
Because these are all feelings you got to get out. Because if it just sits there and gets worse and goes into a stupid roundabout of like toxicity in your brain if you don't get these things out. So that's why, I'll call you and I'll whine about stuff. I was going to use a different word, but we don't on this show.
I will say this, and that's serious. It's my favorite thing in the world. You and my wife will say this, like, you'll say something and then you'll repeat it and then you'll repeat it again, but you'll just tweak it just a little, but it's the same story, but you'll tell me again. It's everything.
Oh, a story. Oh yeah, dude. I get that from my mom. I'll tell you the same story over and over.
Oh yeah. And it just cracks me up. I'm like, okay.
So you can imagine what, like,
you'll say something like, oh yeah, you told me. And then you'll keep saying it anyway.
Yeah. You can imagine what, like, my therapist and my psychiatrist, stuff like that. Oh my gosh, Logan, we get it. But no, I think it just comes down, like, I don't know. There's a healthy level of talking about things, and then there's the line of, okay, now you're just talking about things to talk about things, or you wanting to actually take any action. And I think that comes down to each individual person of like, okay, you can continue to talk about this over and over and over. Kind of like what Megan said. If you've been going to therapy for 8 years, there's something wrong with your therapist.
Yeah.
Because they're not leading you down any positive trail of like recovery or improvement or things like that. So if you're feeling like you're not enough, but you're also feeling the drive to become better, I think those pair well together in a sense. If you're feeling like you're not enough and it's getting worse and things like that, that's where I think you need to be worried about getting some professional help and talking to some people.
And so I guess I would say I feel enough, but at the same time, I feel like I need to be better. Yeah. And I need to continue to be better. Like, yeah, I don't want my wife to stress. I don't want to stress.
Oh yeah. I'm in that boat with you 100%.
And it's just, I want to be able to provide for him and be able to, but anyway, I want to go over this because our time is dwindling. So he goes on to say, one way that you can is to look at these beliefs as a separate part of you. Try to think of when exactly you started feeling like you were not good enough. And although it may sound a bit silly, there's that dyslexia I was telling you about, pretend that version of you is sitting in front of you. Think positively and practice self-compassion in order to heal those old wounds. Experience and train yourself to feel the sensation of pride, love, gratitude, and joy. What I like about this, and I need to practice this, is you're going through something and you're having a very difficult time, and rightfully so. And I'm very loving and very kind, and I'm not aggressive or mean or anything to you.
Yeah.
Why am I not doing that to myself? And so I liked how he goes and just kind of puts it simply. It's just like, try to think exactly when you start feeling this, and then make it a separate being. Like, so how are you going to talk to that person if it's a separate?
Yeah.
And so now talk to yourself as if you were a separate person. That feeling is separate, and give yourself love, give yourself the compassion. And I like that because I don't think I've ever done that in real.
I did a session with Brock where we did like a meditation moment. It was guided, and it ended up.
I was naked.
Yeah. I ended up confronting old Logan in this like meditation. and we ended up talking about it and stuff like that. And a lot of people are angry at their past selves that caused some problems. And I was for a long time too. And he helped me kind of shift my focus of kind of like, old Logan did the best he had with what he had. He still failed a lot of times, but you're still here, which means that he still is improving to a point to get you to where you're at. So if you're moving forward and you're still here and you're still trying, you're having these thoughts like of trying to improve, like take that as a massive win, because it is what it is. It is a win. And so I had to shift my focus on how I viewed my past self, because if you focus so much on your past self, you're not giving your current self and your future self like a fighting chance, because you're just focused on all the stuff that went wrong. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but this was a thought that I had, that I wrote this quote down from Zachary Levi's book, Radical Love. Okay. I've listened to it twice now.
Oh, cool.
It was so good.
It was really good.
Towards the very end of the book, he says, "You are worthy of the healing that you seek." That's a huge one for me. So it's like, if you are seeking out any type of healing or any type of improvement, like if you don't feel like you're worthy of the outcome of it, you got to back up a little bit. Instead of like trying to find all these little quick fixes and self-help and things like that, you got to fix your relationship with your inner self first, whether that's an inner child or an inner adult, or even just your current self, or just even slightly your past self, or even how, dude, your future self. If you don't foresee yourself becoming better or even having any kind of future, which I know what that feels like. Like I remember feeling the mental block that you can't even foresee yourself doing anything other than harm in the future. So I think that's going back to the joke of the ornament that my wife got me. It's a joke, but it has a lot of reality based in it.
I don't think it was a joke.
No, it's a joke that it was this froofy little rainbow pillow.
Yeah, but it was accurate.
Funny because it was like self-love is normally associated with like this froofiness sometimes, but as like a big bearded blue collar, straight man, I'm like, yeah, self-love is still Wait a minute, you're straight? But like self-love is a universal concept that applies to everybody, regardless of race, gender, like sexuality, religion, everything. So it's like, I think that the more you focus on whatever is telling you that you don't feel like you're enough, like that's where you're going to start finding the answers. You can have all the desire in the world to want to be better, but if you're not listening to the person or the guy inside you that's saying, I'm not enough, then the answers aren't going to be received well. So does that make sense? Or am I spiraling?
Nope. The thing that popped in my head was a little bit of Michael Jackson. You are not alone. No, okay.
You sing every episode.
I have to. All right. He goes on to say, what else can we do to help these parts heal and feel like we're enough? He says, remember that these feelings were learned. They are not facts, even if they're true. Because
that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's just what you just said. Because you were in a place, in a certain reality, that you were alone. You were all this kind of stuff. But you maybe put yourself there. So it's not really, they might be true, but they're not facts. Like you had people who loved you. So remember that these feelings were learned. They are not facts, even if they feel true. Feel true.
Feel true. Yeah.
Even if they feel true. See, dyslexia.
Well, see, that's the thing is, that's where your brain can play tricks on you. Is things can feel very real, but they're not. And I think it's a fine line.
And I think every person that's listening right now, or will be listening, has felt some sort of, I'm not enough. I am not, like, I need this. I need this. I need this. I should have done this. All that kind of stuff.
Well, this is the beauty of the internet and the downside of the internet is that you can find a podcast, you can find a book, you can find music, you can find articles, peer-reviewed and not, and whatever, that will support however you're feeling and whatever you subscribe to. And I think that's beautiful, but at the same time, I think it can be it's also dangerous, because there's a lot of things that I love about David Goggins, but I don't like that he calls it your inner B voice, right? Because like, I don't listen to the inner B voice. Just shut it up and go run.
Beaver?
No, you know what I mean. I can't say it because we're a clean podcast, and my dad listens sometimes. But my point being is that
I don't think any of my family listens.
You should just start spouting family drama and see who calls you.
Yes, there is.
But my point being is that I love David Goggins, and I've read his books. I think a lot of his motivation is great, but he's probably not somebody you're going to go talk to if you're struggling with something. right? There's other people Tony Robbins might be a guy you want to go talk to and you're struggling with some inner, you know.
How tall is he?
He's pretty dang tall.
Yeah.
But my point being is that when you say things they might feel like they're true, but they're not. You might be feeling like you're being a little punk inside your head and saying things that you're just whining or whatever. But like, think about it. Like when your kid comes to you and is whining about something, how many times, and I'm guilty of it too, I'm like, stop whining.
I've stopped.
I know. But this is the thing is I've got a 6-year-old and this is my bad programming that I'm working on. There's times I will admit that I've been like, are you a baby? No. Okay. Use your words. Don't whine to me. I'm like, the message was there of me trying to tell him to use his words, but it also came with a little bit of an insult. And I've needed to back that up because I'm like, he is still a baby. He's 6. He's in 1st grade. He still writes his E's backwards and his name starts with an E. like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a level of which that like, we still have a kid deep inside our subconscious that will whine from time to time. Like he will say things that like, I don't want to do this, or I feel like this, or I feel like, you know, little Logan had dreams of all of this by the time I was in my mid-30s. And a lot of my dreams have come true. I have a gorgeous wife that has taught me that kindness and empathy and understanding is more important than so many other things in this world. I have my daughter who has taught me that understanding big feelings is more important than shutting them up. And I have my little boy who has taught me that it's important to be fun and creative and just free will sometimes. But there's so many things about society that says, no, control that. No, control that. Don't have empathy because if you're not like me, then you shouldn't exist. So I think that to feel like you're enough, you have to start with the feeling of why do you not feel like you're enough? Mm-hmm. And if you shut that feeling up, you're never going to find out. That's the end of my book that I didn't write.
No, I agree though. But I think a lot of this has to do with what I'm about to say. Do not make comparisons to others, as it will only fuel these negative feelings. You are unique in your own. You are unique and on your own path. So, for instance, I feel like I do compare myself to a lot of people that are like my age or in the same type of business and stuff like that, and I see people just are winning. But they're only showing what they want to show us. But at the same time, it's just like, dang man, they're killing it. And where because I feel like everyone's an open book because I am, and maybe to my detriment sometimes. Like I'm like, because people will steal some of my ideas for business wise and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to change who I am.
Yeah.
But it's really hard not to compare because I want to be where they are. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like almost, I don't know if that makes sense. But he goes on to say, you are enough. That does not mean that there is no room for self-improvement. It just means that you're good enough for this life and you have the potential to be whoever you want to be. Remember to become aware of what you are feeling and try to identify where it is coming from. Listen to who you are. Be kind to yourself. And not enough will become enough.
Not enough will become enough.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
If you stop judging, if you're comparing yourself, judging yourself, being a critic of yourself, there's a difference between, I think, being a critic of yourself and saying, I need to be better.
Yeah. It's self-improvement.
And right now, I feel like I'm being a critic to myself.
It's self-improvement versus just like self-deprecation.
But how do you get over the self...
Therapy.
But at the same time, one of them is breath work. Another thing is working out. And I think working out really has helped us and helped me specifically.
I mean, dude, meditation, going for a freaking dude. Like I joked about, we're on this group text. Everybody that works with Brock, the Neuromastery crew, I just call it the Neuro crew. And I'm probably a little bit more active on there than probably some people would prefer.
Because I'm not active at all.
I use it as an accountability text group. Like I'm like, I literally was the other day. I was like, hey, I was supposed to go do that 5-mile run with them in the freaking mountains with their shirts off, all these freaking jacked guys, and I couldn't make it. I had some stuff to do with work and my situation.
And Brock's like, are you going to make it? I'm like, nope.
Yeah, so I went and ran 5 miles that morning and just felt like in solidarity, put that out there. And then I was like, I was done for the day. I'm like, I ran 5 freaking miles as a guy who's still north of 250. Like, I'm like, there's not a lot of guys who are doing that right now. And then I was dealing with so much inside my head of everything that's going on. I was like, I need to go for a run. And then the other side of me was like, what the hell did you just say? I need to go for a run. I need to clear my head. So like, yeah, the exercise helps. Going for a walk. So it's like, I went for a run. I went for a 3-mile run at like 9:00 at night in January in Utah. It was cold. I was wearing layers and I went for a 3-mile run and I sent it on this group text. I was like, hey guys, you guys did this. I gave you 5. Well, I just gave you 3 more. And then I texted it to Robert, even though he goes to bed at 8:00 in Florida. I bothered him because it was like, I listened to like what my brain and my body said at that moment that it needed to kind of feel some clarity. And I went and did it and I felt great. I felt horrible the next morning because I was so tired and like my legs were shot, but it felt good in the moment to like listen to what the inside was saying I needed to do on the outside. Yeah. So that's when the not enough becomes enough. I think that's when you're listening to that voice and like taking action on it. And sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah, especially the not this part that we talked about today.
Yeah.
Saying not this is not easy.
No.
But when it's enough to say not this, you want...
Well, the difference is we just talked about the not this episode. And then you and I had a conversation about how that's applying in my life at this point. It's different when it's talked about and it's thought about, but it was very much felt. When I talked to you about the situation, talking to my wife, and it was felt. And I'm like, this feels different.
And that's awesome.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's scary,
like,
but it's insane.
Awesome. Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that like when the not enough becomes enough, it's because you're acknowledging those feelings and you're honoring them and you're trying to find a better way out. Trying to build a better, wheel, so to speak. There's a phrase, build a better what? Mousetrap.
Oh, world.
Yeah. So
I will say this though, just to leave it on end note, I feel a lot better. So thank you.
You better freaking call me. Don't act like you can't talk to me because I'm talking to you too much.
Well, also, I really have felt like I'm bugging.
You're not. You say it all the time. I'm bugging you. I'm like
because
you're bugging.
I think I feel like I have a high self-esteem, but my self-worth is low right now.
Sure. But you'll be like, I feel like I'm bugging you. I'm like,
but also my ear really itches.
I'm like, you're bugging me by saying I feel like you're bugging me.
I know.
Or you know what I mean?
Sometimes I do that on purpose.
I know you do. So it's like I don't even know whether.
But I will say this: I need to be more active in the chat, other than throw some random, totally opposite of what you guys are doing. You're like, guys, remember, like I'm eating this, and it's all healthy.
And you're like, you sexy boys.
Yeah. I'm like, what? I'm eating some fried chicken.
Yeah. It's all these like guys with 4% body fat.
What's funny is I really was eating fried chicken.
So, well, do you have any kind of challenge or anything? Because this was your episode. I want to like, or are you gonna leave it at that?
I would say, don't be afraid to talk. And challenge if you are nervous, you are feeling down, you are feeling like you are not enough. Reach out to me or Logan. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to someone. But also, stop comparing yourself.
Yeah.
Because one thing I will say is physically, this is one thing I hated, and I'm going to bring it up even though we're done.
Okay.
I went to a chiropractor yesterday because my back hurts. It still hurts. But yesterday was stupid. And I kept apologizing because I was so fat.
Oh, to the chiropractor?
No, to their nurse practitioner or whatever. Because they're like, like all this, and they were like, okay, sit up. I'm like, I can't. No, I was embarrassed. Like, she's like, hey, you need to take your shirt off so that they can put electrodes and crap on me.
You're like,
I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then the chiropractor came, and because they had me moving so much, I'm like, I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed.
I'm just surprised they didn't squeeze a fart out of you.
They might have.
Yeah.
No, but I'm dead serious, and it was embarrassing. And after leaving, I'm like, I'm ashamed that I was ashamed.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, that's so. I got to figure out how to be secure in who I am.
Yeah,
physically.
Well,
physically,
the acknowledgement is half the battle.
Yeah,
so I think you're already ahead.
No, so it's kind of just acknowledge where you're being self-deprecated. We haven't done that forever.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you talked about this. I'm gonna smack you next time you don't talk to me because we've had this conversation before. So, but Yeah, no, I think that was a good one. We'll share that. Send that article to me. We'll share it on the link so anybody can read it if they want to.
Yeah,
and then
it's very short.
Yeah, but this has been fun. The last 3 episodes, just you and me chatting, catching up, talking about a few things. We've got a guest coming in next. It's gonna be a really fun one. It's also gonna have some serious points because it's very pertinent about some stuff he's talked about. But thank you guys all for listening. As always, check out Mountain Ops, check out Newcom, check out Copper Johns, and we will catch you next week.